Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Somewhere between science and superstition.
We have such sights to show you.
Strange Eons. Welcome to Strange Eons Radio. That's Margaret over there.
Yeah, it is.
That's V-Dog over there.
What?
I'm Casey. And before we get started, you guys, I feel like I need to apologize to our buddy Craig Mullins because on our Lovecraft wrap-up episode, I was talking about this film called Color from the Dark, and we were saying all this horrible stuff from it, and I had the title wrong. And Craig, who listens, actually worked on the film Color from the Dark, and he's like,
no.
how dare you? And I'm like, what? You didn't work on that film? And he goes, yeah, I did. And I was like, shit, that's not even the title of the film we were thinking of.
Whisper in the Dark.
Wait.
Something.
Beauty in the
So
Dark
you
or something
said
like that.
it was called one thing, but you meant a different film.
I meant a
'cause your
different
friend,
film.
Because your friend was, you totally weren't talking about his film. I'm sure. This isn't just like a really convoluted story
No,
as
actually-
a way to, this is implausible, guys.
When he told me that he worked on it, at first I thought he actually worked on the film I was thinking about, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh no, I'm sorry. And then I started thinking, wait a second, you would have been way too young to have worked on this shitty film that we were
You
talking
don't
about.
have to keep it the charade. It's fine.
Oh, the charade?
Oh my!
The charade?
Big words. Watch out.
Kind of show you think you're on.
Coming
Suddenly
your
we're
way.
elevated.
All right, so Craig, I didn't mean Ivan Zukon's Color from the Dark. I meant, I think,
Different. I think that was
Beauty
like the
from the
first
Dark?
year or second
Yeah.
year we went.
there was a squid, and there was a person being interrogated in a chair, and he had a lot of cigarettes.
And it was a great example of one of the huge problems many festival filmmakers have. Too long credits.
Oh, I
The
have
credits are longer than the damn movie.
Jeez, this is a very specific memory you have
Was
of
this a short film?
Yeah.
Or
Why
a-
couldn't you have figured out what the fucking name of the movie was?
Blanked out.
All right, you guys, I know that we have all seen and read and done a bunch of cool stuff in the last week or so. So who wants to start?
Gah.
I'll do it.
Yay.
Okay.
I started watching and finished watching this awesome little cartoon on Cartoon Network called Primal.
Oh, okay. I haven't
Nothing?
even heard of it.
Nothing?
I remember you mentioning it, but that's about.
It's by a guy named Jendi Tartakovsky, and he did Samurai Jack and
Oh.
Dexter's Laboratory
Oh, super
and
cool.
the animated Clone Wars before
Oh.
it went to the...
So just
Computer.
a little bit of work.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Man, this thing is amazing. It is about a caveman and a dinosaur who kind of befriend each other and then roam the world. This is, yes, of course, that the timeline doesn't work.
No. I'm just trying to picture it. I'm on a journey with you now.
But the coolest thing about it is the animation is super cool, but there's zero dialogue in any episode. So it's just this, it's got this amazing soundscape, but any sound that the guy makes, and his name is Spear, although we don't
Sorry.
know that, it's just in the credits.
Oh, okay. That's when you
He's
find
called
out.
Spear, and the dinosaur is called Fang. And that's just it. There are a couple of moments because this dinosaur acts very dog-like in some scenes. He circles 3 times before he lies down and things like that. And it's like I don't know, an Allosaurus or something. It's a fairly large dinosaur and pretty vicious.
Is it more like a adorable, cute kind of show?
No.
or is it shocking?
And in fact, definitely if you've got children, maybe keep them away from this. It's very bloody. Everything dies regularly in it, and it's very much a tale of how difficult it would have been to live back then.
Who is this for?
I think it was made for me.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Because I fucking loved it. I mean, the first 3 episodes came out, and I could not stop watching it. And it's only 10 episodes long. The first 5 have aired, with the last 5 to be airing at a later date.
Wow.
But fucking amazing. And then I thought that I had discovered this amazing new thing. It's all over the internet. People going, holy shit, there's going to be Emmys and all that stuff for this thing. It's really, really cool, you guys. It's called Primal, and it's on Cartoon Network.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Well, I finally started. I haven't finished yet. I think I'm on episode 4, probably, of Marianne.
Oh,
I think you undersold that, man. I love it. I just don't like the scary shit. I like the story. I like what's going on. That first scene in episode 2 is the one that's currently fucking with me at night when I go up to go to the bathroom or something.
That far. I haven't got that because I'm terrified.
God, that scene is so good.
Oh God,
so good.
Yeah, it's creepy. Well, you'll be happy to know that I just finished the last episode, and it ends well.
Nice. So that's good.
That is good. So, is it only going to be 1 season long, or
no?
Is it
ends with a cliffhanger, and it didn't need to have that, but I was fine with it.
Okay, that's fair. That makes a lot of sense.
The phrase "look closer" has now entered my lexicon of sayings.
I'm glad to hear this because, it's one thing when you're watching something and you're creeped out, but then you try to tell your friends and then they watch it, and for whatever reason they're like, it didn't do much for me. Like, okay, I guess I'm just a big fucking weenie, I guess.
I think it's because it's got to be down to context, though, because I swear it depends on how people watch it. If they watch it with their lights on, with people walking in and out of the room, probably not going to do it for you. Yeah. So I always like to really grill people on what circumstances they watched things. So I'm like, were you alone in a dark room in a cabin with a fire crackling next to you and no one for miles? No one to hear you scream?
Oddly specific description of a place
to
live.
It was how I saw it. That's all I'm just giving you a little
That episode of Friends was scary.
Only the one about The Shining. No, definitely. I feel like a lot of people will say, "Oh yeah, that movie wasn't that good," or blah blah blah. I had a student in one of my classes talk about how they didn't think 2001 was very interesting, and I was like, "Look. Okay, hold on. I also could not get through 2001 the first 4 times I tried on a CRTV off of a VHS.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that was a 12-inch probably monitor.
And this was before pot was legal?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I wasn't doing it.
I definitely wasn't doing it, and I probably should have been. And then I saw it at the Cinerama, and I was like, oh, I get it now. So I really feel like context just means so much, and until you have the right circumstances, it's really unfair to the film. It's unfair to the film and the filmmakers.
Well, I've always I want a scary movie to scare me. Yeah. Always.
Yeah.
I want that to happen, and I know plenty of people that are like, scare me. It's like it's a challenge. The movie has to scare you, and you don't want to be scared. It's like,
they got to be better than it.
You.
Yeah.
A sad movie's not going to make you cry if you really don't want to cry.
Yeah.
And a scary movie isn't going to make you scared if you're just sit there trying to prove you're manly because you can watch a freaking movie. Wow, you're a man.
I never thought about it before, but you're totally right. Yeah, having that attitude going in and being like, no, it's super dumb. It's definitely going to be super dumb. Yeah, see how dumb it is? Haha. That was dumb. Then I'm totally, I do that on roller coasters, so I get it. I'm like, it's not going to be scary. Oh my God. It's stupid. Oh my God. What a dumb roller coaster, you guys. Psh, world's tallest. More like world's not tallest.
Well, good comeback. I'm going to ask you to use that voice for the rest of the episode, though.
My dumb bro voice?
Yes.
Okay. I'll take it to the side and get it ready for you.
Okay, so what else?
Well, I went and did I have some other friends who aren't you two. And so, I know.
Nice try, but okay.
Well, okay, me and my other not friends who I pretend are friends but hang out with me sometimes, and or maybe I just invite myself over, have a cult movie night once a month or so. So we watched 3 movies from Under the Water, surprisingly late. I'm like, this could have been really useful to me several months ago, guys. Thanks for that one. So I've now seen 3 more underwater adventure films.
Maybe they listen to that podcast. You go, it's a great night.
You
Let's do
know,
that.
I'm sorry. Only one of them that I am sure of has, but I don't think that factored in. So I think that they just independently came up with that. And I was like, could we do something like maybe Halloween-y? And they were like, yeah, sure, maybe. And then they were like, okay, we're watching these 3 underwater films. So that was good. So I finally saw Deep Rising.
Oh, so good.
That was pretty exciting. Yeah, I was like, oh, it's that guy from Everwood.
Treat Williams.
Yep, Treat Williams. He was owning it. I was like, damn, Treat Williams, this is probably the only time that you will ever be this cool. But he nailed it. It was great. The monster was cool. There was a lot of great things going on in it. So that was pretty cool.
You'll need to watch more Treat Williams movies then, because he's been cool.
You know what? I
several
probably
times.
should. I honestly don't think I've seen any other Treat Williams movies. I've only seen this in Everwood. That's why I was like, oh, it's that Everwood guy. Yeah, and so we also hit up Deep Blue Sea, which I was too drunk to really tell you exactly what happened. I had sobered up by the time Deep Rising came along, but we started with I think it's called Leviathan.
Leviathan, yeah.
Yeah, the
Is
one
that
that's
Peter
like
Weller?
aliens underwater.
Yeah.
Essentially. Yeah. It was super good. Like I really dug the practicals. I mean, as soon as you get practicals, you already get like a million more points from me instantly. There was a significantly larger chance that I'm gonna love it. So
Nice.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool one. I had kind of a unique event that I think Kelly's a little annoyed that I went to without him.
Ooh, do dish.
Steve Holitz got a invite to go do the Evil Dead escape room.
Oh,
And let me tell you, that's awesome.
really?
It is.
Wait, is it
so much fun?
Is it in Seattle?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Downtown Seattle.
See, Kelly, now you know what it's like to be me and never
Actually,
get invited to anything.
I'm not even sure why you would say that I'd be annoyed at this. This is something that I know that I would be a hindrance to anyone doing.
You wouldn't be able to help escape the escape room?
I have a very low intelligence, and I just don't want to be there and everyone going, fucking Eric, thanks for
panic under
bringing
pressure.
your friend.
Oh, no. Yeah, I have that secret fear. This is why I've never done an escape room. I'm like,
It's fun. It's more than you might think. It was me, Holt's wife Julie, and my wife Dina. So it was the 4 of us. We finished with 1:09 left to go.
Oh my God.
And,
Do you have to have
it's
like,
so much fun.
with that particular one, do you have to have movie knowledge to complete it? Oh, okay.
No, it's just like the look of it, which I won't go into too much detail because they no, don't talk too much about this. We don't want to give away, Like when they
instantly
took
go to
that
the radio.
photo you saw online, like they had to remove a bunch of stuff that was behind us because it was clues of what we were doing. But it looked relatively like the cabin and
That's
the
pretty cool.
other areas. I've got the little the deer
Oh, nice.
on the wall and stuff like that. And it's just fun. It is really, really fun. And so highly recommended anybody in the Seattle area. Go check out this Evil Dead escape room because it is great.
That's awesome.
I'll see if I can force friends I don't have to go with me
Well, we left
to
and,
do this.
we left and Dina's like, we got to find other ones to do now. We got to do more.
You've started this thing now. I keep hearing from various people actually about some people wanting to start escape rooms and or haunted houses. So it's pretty neat. I feel like a lot of people from our community are reaching out to that.
Steve and his wife have been doing a bunch. Apparently there are lots of them around. It's just that these guys got the license to do Evil Dead. So
That's
come on.
pretty
Somebody's got
intense.
to do a Hellraiser escape room.
Oh my God, that would be so cool.
There is one literally a block from where we are sitting right now, an escape room. Not a
sure.
Hellraiser one,
Is it
but
this house?
It is. Yeah, good luck tonight. It
you
is
get one clue, but I won't tell you where to find it.
I don't want to know where Kelly would leave a clue.
Nature's Pocket.
No.
Yes, the
I'll just
escape
jump out the
room
window.
The escape room is some kind of time travel escape room,
Oh,
and
that's
it's
kinda cool.
just a block west of here.
Oh. Can you go to escape room by yourself? Will it be the boringest experience of all time?
It could be tough because there was at least one thing in this room you needed probably two people for.
Oh,
because
really?
There's a space difference.
Oh.
It's one of those things where you hit
A thing
something and then
else.
something pops up over there. And if you get
yeah.
off the weight off that trigger, then it disappears.
Oh, but I've seen the movie Escape Room. And if you have enough water from the water tank in the corner, you can put it in the glass because you killed one of the people. So you put it in, and then you can maybe get through that puzzle.
They're not quite that elaborate.
Okay.
She is right, though.
I'm just saying. You should have looked for the water fountain in a glass. You would have
I
been
think
fine.
you need at least two. I think you could probably do it with two people. The escape room's website's got pictures of the people, and the most I think is 6. And I did see one picture with 2 people.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
You guys, I went and saw Joker.
You did. All right.
Did you?
I have seen it. I forgot I'd seen it until you said that right now.
Well, we should talk about it without too many spoilers, I guess, since it's still pretty new.
Yeah, it is pretty fresh.
probably.
Still in theaters. Most likely.
First, did you like it?
I did.
Okay.
But I have my reasons. Like I was very, it was a lot like the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood experience where I'd heard from friends on either side of it. And I think that I have my personal reasons for liking it. But like, I guess I'm not holding it to the same standards that some people are or upset about certain things that other people are.
Yeah, I was fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that it needed to exist. I think
I don't think it needed to exist.
I've
no.
complained a lot about how when you make a character less mysterious, that's not the best thing for them.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for a villain.
For a villain, especially, it worked so well for Star Wars. Now that we know everything about Darth Vader, he's way more interesting, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely not 100% more whiny. My face is melting.
Here's what I did like about it. I liked a lot about it. I thought it was really a lovely looking movie. I thought the score was spectacular. I thought Joaquin Phoenix was acting his ass off.
God, yeah.
I think that it would have been a better movie had it not had any kind of tie to the Batman universe. I don't think the movie would have even been made if it didn't have any tie to the Batman universe.
There's no way it would exist.
Because it really is a mashup of Taxi Driver and King of Comedy. And I think the entire reason De Niro
That's why
is
he's
hired
That's
is so they
100%.
can at least say, no, we get what we are doing.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right, and those were the two notes that I was kind of I was hearing from a lot of people, and it didn't frustrate me because I didn't mind that they're using a character's downfall in such a way to kind of work in a function similar to those films. Like that didn't bug me at all.
Right.
And I thought it was actually really smart to include De Niro to just let everyone know, like, yeah, we get it, and we're gonna push into it. I mean, like, this villain's name is literally Joker, and so you're gonna think he might have some kind of past involving jokes. Makes sense to me.
Right. I wish that we would have found out that he actually inspired the person who would become the Joker instead of.
Oh,
it's hard
that's
for me to
interesting.
believe that a
Sure.
guy who can't spell very well is also Batman's greatest nemesis.
Most intelligent villain he goes against.
Yeah. So that was.
They did that with Gotham, right? Where they had a guy
Yeah.
who wasn't the Joker. Seemed like he was going to be the Joker. and
That's what
then
somebody told me. Yeah.
Oh.
So
somebody else.
here's what my big takeaway from this, though, was maybe this is DC's first DC movie
I was thinking that too.
instead of trying to ape the Marvel films and
right.
not being able to quite capture that. Maybe this is how they start making their own movies. Because I would love to see a Superman film that was set in the 30s that started in Kansas and then moved to Metropolis, or a Batman movie where he actually has to solve a mystery and prove that he is the world's greatest detective. Something like that would be really neat to see, and maybe this is the start of things like that.
I was also in a similar boat where I was like, yeah, okay, DC finally allowed something really neat to happen with one of their properties. Like, I mean, it's totally far removed from our typical superhero verse style films, and it is so much better for it because of that. Yeah, I totally agree. I don't think that movie did need to exist.
The only caveat I'll put against that a little bit, because I've seen that a few times. Oh, finally a serious. Well, Logan.
No.
was a serious superhero movie.
That is true, but I mean that it still had the same actor who's been part of this other universe and actors. Yes, it was serious, and yes, it was amazing. But I feel like this one was like, okay, screw the playbook. Let's just go way farther off the deep. Let's make something artistic. Let's like try and think outside the box, completely outside the box. Like Logan still had a lot of ties in a way that I think Joker just released itself of. Not to anyone's discredit at all. I loved, like I said, I loved Logan. But Joker, it was just a beautiful, beautiful film.
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm curious because there's how to word this correctly. There's a world of art house film lovers that like a particular movie, but that particular world is full of as many cliches as some of the big budget films.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen You Were Never Here? Or We Were Never Here. It looks like, and that's Joaquin Phoenix too.
Yeah, sure.
And it kind of looks like it's made like that movie.
Okay.
Stylistically, does it bear any resemblance?
Not
really.
necessarily.
Okay,
like
that's
yes
cool.
and no,
So,
in
no.
that they're both like they try to make cinematic looking shots, I guess. Like that's, I mean, it's a little more edgy, true, but this one had a way more tight storyline. And like the way that Joaquin was played in this film was way more effective than You Were Never Really Here. Cause like You Were Never Really Here, I don't know. I to this day, I'm not even quite sure what was going on in that film. I was like, yeah, you guys were, intense. Everything's all messed up. Hammers, cool. Like, and this had like the physicality of how Joaquin like presents this character alone is worth it. Just the way he moves the Joker around it creates this character that just would not exist anywhere else.
Oh, that's cool.
I kind of agree with that. I think there is a danger in making somebody, especially a villain, someone that you have sympathy for.
True.
It takes away. I mean, in this movie, you're rooting for him.
Yeah, and I think that there's a danger in having too much of a backstory as well. It sucks to be able to know so much, but then again, this is like a universe that we've delved so much into that I feel like I've seen every version of Batman and every version of Joker. So it was like, well, what more damage could we possibly be doing at this point by delving into the backstory of a character we've been looking at for God knows how many years at this point? So I didn't mind that. I like to pair this against other versions. I don't see this as like, this is the definitive version. To me, like White Knight was a great version. The Killing Joke is a great version. Like these all are standalone, amazing versions. I just really liked that we got to see something a little different personally.
It was different for sure. Yeah. I mean, it would be interesting to see if they introduce a Batman into the universe they have now set up.
Yeah, it would be, but like what you were saying before, it would also kind of suck. I almost never want to see any other films in this particular version of the universe.
Yeah, well, having become the biggest DC movie, I think now, and
Really,
the second.
It's the most profitable. I don't know if it's actually the biggest moneymaker because compared to it was quote unquote only made for $55 million.
Right, but as of the time we're recording this, it has $763 million.
Yeah, so it's the most profitable by a long shot, but I'm sure.
Well, they were making a big deal when Aquaman made it to 800, so we're almost there on this.
Yeah.
wow.
So-
Oh my gosh. Well, I guess we'll see. It would be really nice if they just took a bunch of really cool various directors and let them do their thing. That would be neat.
My fear is because I don't trust DC to do anything.
Yeah.
My fear is they're going to go, oh shit, this is what they liked about
Yeah,
this.
and
Now
then
let's
we're
make a
just
bunch
gonna
of
ape it.
these movies.
Yeah.
And
They're
it's
just
like,
going to
Let's do Catwoman next, and then here's the Riddler, and no, Batman.
I think what people are responding to is that
Poison Ivy.
it is a different kind of superhero film. When we had this discussion before, there is superhero fatigue right now, but films like Deadpool come along or Logan or this, and it makes people go, oh, I do still like superhero films. They just have to be good.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Like Into the Spider-Verse. It's like, hey, we just really, people in Hollywood, if you are listening, we just really like good stories. We just like good movies. There. I've just given you millions and millions of dollars. Enjoy it. Roll around in your piles of money. That's all you have to do. Get a good story, guys. Stop just flashing and copying. Thanks.
Yeah, that's the
Vanessa.
easy part. Writing a good story.
You know how many freaking scripts land on their
Oh,
desk?
yes.
And how many times they get a good script and they're like, this is great. Let's change it. Like, come on, guys. Just stop. Just stop fiddling. Get 50 people to read it and score it, like normal people, normal human beings. Read the script, score it, take those scores, take the highest one, make that movie. Don't change the script. There. Millions of dollars. Enjoy. Roll around. I'm here for you. Pat on the back.
V-Dog has spoken.
And out. I want to flip my collar, but you won't hear it.
You drop the mic, but it's on a stand.
It's on the stand, and it would be really loud for our listeners. Just pretend. Mic drop.
All right, guys. Anything else we need to talk about before we jump into the topic?
Well, I did like to say, I noticed Bob's kid left us a 5-star review.
Uh-oh.
So shout out to her for the wonderful things, and I'm hoping it's okay. You know I suck at pronouncing names.
Right.
You've listened to this podcast a lot. I'm talking to you, Luella. I'm hoping that's how that name is said.
That's how I'd pronounce that.
Yeah. So thank you for listening and saying that Vanessa is sassy and I'm cool and Kelly's full of crap because he didn't like Satanic Panic.
Wait a second. What?
Ooh, burn. You didn't get the good review.
And I have added your challenge movie to our list of challenge films. I've got a few of those now, so I'll have to actually start watching them.
Do we get to know what it is?
Yeah.
I Sell the Dead.
I Sell the Dead.
I Sell the Dead.
Have you
I
seen that
mean,
one?
like, I haven't, so I'm just...
I think I've seen that, but it's been quite a while since I've seen it.
It's about 10 years old now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
I know nothing of this. I assume there's salesmanship involved and perhaps dead people.
It's a. Are you familiar with the story of Burke and Hare?
Yes.
Okay, it's a movie based on that,
Okay.
if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
That's actually the one time I was in the same room as John Landis is for his version of Burke and Hare.
Which was
Burke and
Burke and
Hare.
Hare.
That might be another story for another time, but
Well, how about this? I'll watch I Sell the Dead, and then you can tell us about Burke and Hare.
there we go. Let's do it.
Cool.
It's a deal.
So you have to tune in later for that one. Hi, well, we finally got like a teaser
Finally, we
thing
have a
going
reason
here.
for people to come back. Ooh.
Hey, wait a second.
I mean, sorry, Kelly, you're great. Keep coming and listening.
Shall
We're
we
great people.
break down then and come back to talk about our
Yeah, let's take a little
let's do
break.
it.
Halloween? What are we doing? The movies that take place on.
Or at
Halloween.
least part of them takes place on Halloween.
At least
Right.
some moment within the film should be on Halloween.
Right.
My rule wasn't that tough, guys.
Oh, are you gonna chastise us about rules?
That's what I'm saying. Oh no! You know what?
Well, I call it Sam Haines. I don't know what you're talking about.
Can it be on Dios la the Mexican Day of the Dead?
It's not even how it's pronounced.
I know. I have it written
Sam
down somewhere
Haines.
else.
Gonna kick you in the balls.
Hold on. I got it. Dia de los Muertos.
Los Muertos.
Los Muertos. Did I get it?
Both of you guys.
Los Muertos.
We'll be right back.
Hallmark presents Halloween as you've never seen it before. Hallmark's Boo Bazaar, where actual costume accessories create a spectacle beyond belief. Horrify your head. Try on glowing terror. Shake in your shorts. Everything to let the ghoul times roll is at Hallmark's Boo Bazaar. Now playing in a store near you.
I'm frightened.
And we are back. Okay, you guys. So this was Vanessa's topic, and it was films that
At least take place
at some point
on Halloween.
Halloween.
Come on, it's
I
the
gotta
Halloween
figure
time.
out how I'm going to title this episode.
I thought
Halloween, yo.
Perfect.
I thought we were doing Halloween and Halloween. I don't know.
Right.
Wait,
Hell, mine's even weirder. So
Halloween-y style. I don't know. We'll work on it.
So, tell me what you picked.
Okay, so I picked the WNUF Halloween special.
Don't check your dial, folks. You didn't tune into Transylvania's public access station. No, sir. Tonight is Halloween.
Halloween is Satan's night, the night of the devil.
Reporter Frank Stewart has a special Halloween treat in store for viewers tonight. He'll be leading a group of paranormal experts through the infamous Weber House.
Do you know what happened here in the Weber house?
Some people got killed. Their son went haywire.
Frank Stewart and his team of experts will conduct the first ever live on TV seance.
Evil works in mysterious ways, Frank. It's unpredictable.
Folks, we are going where no camera crew has gone before. Father, perform the exorcism. This is not some Halloween prank. The grisly evidence of the supernatural is real. We'll be right back.
You're watching the WNUF Halloween special.
Have either of you guys watched this movie?
Yes.
Part of it.
Excellent. Okay, so strong start. Great. Glad I have some fans in the house. Welcome. So I really like this movie. I've seen it before. I was introduced to it for the first time a year ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago. And I watched it on Halloween appropriately and just super dug it. It's a completely unique viewing experience. And for a low budget movie, I'm talking the price tag was $1,500 to make this feature film. I think they did a surprisingly great job with it. So the whole concept behind it is that you're watching a TV special on TV 28 evening news with commercial breaks and everything. It starts off with somebody rewinding a tape. So you're watching this kind of old VHS tape through the eyes of someone else who's in control of the buttons. And they're kind of rewinding and fast forwarding throughout the whole piece. And the special is like, it's very much a blast from the past. It's very good at representing those kind of really terrible local TV specials, ads, news things where it's like, all right, everybody, it's Halloween. Let's go onto the street with Dave. Dave, what's out there? Is it spooky? And then they cut to the man on the street and he's surrounded by, like Halloween goers. Oh my, it's terrifying out here, Bob. It's that kind of thing intermixed with these commercials that are very representative of local, low budget 80s, 90s, 80s, I guess. TV spots. So you get the psychic hotline, you get people who are trying to sell dentistry, you have like just all kinds of really, really fun things. There's political ads, there's people showing trying to sell those makeup kits, those Halloween makeup kits. And they just do a great job. I think basically this filmmaker, it was directed by a guy named Chris LaMartina. He basically just got a bunch of his friends to make a bunch of really low budget vintage style commercials and send them into him. And he stitched it together with this story that this news channel is telling. So it was just...
That's kind of a cool filmmaking technique.
It's a super smart idea.
Farm out your work.
Yeah, exactly. And he actually got way too many commercials, so he had to cut a bunch of them out. He couldn't use all the ones he was given. And there are like probably 100 in here.
Oh, jeez.
It's crazy. And they're super fun. They're super random. And they just keep the energy going. So you never feel like you're stuck in some low budget piece. Like you're constantly being fed these sort of interesting little snippets. Got actually a 57% audience and no critic Rotten Tomatoes. So I don't think that many people have seen it actually. I mean, it was definitely a hidden gem for me. It was given over to me by a friend that was like, "Oh my God, you haven't seen this yet? It's so crazy." It was on, I want to say it was on Shudder and on Amazon for a little while, but it's been removed from both at this point. So I had to watch a not so legal copy on
anyways
YouTube. Boo mood. Ooh, spooky streaming services. And I think I broke them. But I also own it, so I don't feel too bad. I'm not near my home right now, okay? I'm doing the best I can. So the premise is that, like I said, you're watching this Halloween special. It's 1 hour and 23 minutes, or I'm sorry, it is, 1 hour 23 minutes long. The guy who directed it, Chris LaMartina, hasn't really done a ton else other than his own low budget things. So he's done a lot more like Faces of Schlock, Dead Teenagers, Book of Lore, President's Day, Lost Trailer Park, the TV series, which is I think 9 trailers. I haven't watched it. I'm not sure. And Witch's Brew, which he made after this one. I can't speak for if any of the other ones are good. The people who starred in his movie are very much local TV slubs. So they have only done things in that local area of Chicago or wherever they're at. So they don't have a ton of credits either. But so the premise of this piece is, like I said, you're watching this special with them. There's a guy named Frank. It's a TV news reporter. Sorry, I'm not selling this very well at all. Oh, God. You should see the look on Kelly's face. He's like over it. He's like, oh, my God, I'm not in this at all. I'm sorry. You should just stop. I won't stop, sir. You can't make me. It's a good piece. So you're watching this on the live out in the streets reporter who's going to go into a haunted house with 2 clairvoyants and their cats, as well as a priest to go into the house, which had a murder in it 20 years prior, where a guy murdered his parents, I believe, and it's very filled with bad spirits. So they're going in and they have like moments where they're doing a seance and they have live callers jump in. And so you get somebody who calls in and says, Iron Maiden rules. White line sucks. and that kind of, so it's just, it feels so genuine.
Baba booey, baba booey, baba booey.
Exactly. Everybody who calls is like just totally like messing with them, and they're like, "We're trying to be serious here, guys." And the reporter gets more and more into it as he goes through the house. The psychic couple pieces out partway through because their kitty cat kind of goes missing, and they're really things aren't going well. Like their recording equipment gets broken. It seems like maybe there is something going on in this place. And then there's the priest he keeps saying he's not really willing to do an exorcism because he has to like contact the Catholic Church. As it progresses, it seems like maybe he really doesn't know how to do an exorcism for various reasons.
Just follow the movie.
Yeah, follow the movie. And then it kind of just takes this crazy turn where everything just gets ramped up to 11. And they cut to the like, we're having technical difficulties. And then the tape kind of fast forwards and it's 1 week later and they're like, Frank is still missing. And we thought it might be a prank, but unfortunately it seems as though perhaps it is real. So it's just, I don't want to give away too much for anybody who does want to check it out, but I will say I love this film. It's a total cult, hard to find piece, but you should check it out. It's super fun. It's different than anything else you'll see. And it's super fun for Halloween.
Cool.
I appreciate the passion behind it.
Have you seen the whole thing?
Yes, I have.
Okay, fine, all right.
Because I was told, maybe by your friends, how great this thing was, and that I needed to watch it. And
Matt or somebody like that we know love it too.
I don't think you know the same people I know who.
No, I was making a joke.
Oh, okay.
Because it had to be 2 other idiots who were telling me how great this movie was.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And I watched it, and I was like, this movie makes me think.
I wonder if this movie is more meaningful for people who grew up like as kids with that specific TV as their like touchstone. Mm-hmm. So
I actually grew up in the 80s and I'm considerably older than you, so
damn it. I was really holding on to that gemstone because I was like, oh, I know the perfect response. Okay.
I remember when the VCR was introduced to us.
Hey,
when you told me it was made for $1,500, I didn't blink an eye because it looks like it was made for $1,500.
Absolutely.
I think it's a really neat idea. Mm-hmm. but its budget definitely shows through. And like I say, I appreciate the passion. I'm not surprised that the guy hasn't moved on to bigger and better things because I don't think it showcases a lot of talent.
Go on.
But it's fun for what it is. I am a little surprised at the amount of people who absolutely love this thing. I think there's a better version of it. What am I thinking of? The British one.
Oh,
Ghostwatch or something.
Or Ghost.
I think
something
that's
like
a
that.
very similar premise,
And I haven't seen it.
and it's done much better.
Okay. Well, that's really good to know. Like, I'll check that out because normally I'd watch this on Halloween, but since I've seen it now, I've got to watch something else. So maybe I'll watch that. Thanks, dude. So I will say though, something that we should note is that it will be having a sequel. So they did a GoFundMe. Where they were asking for $50K, they got 32, but they're pushing forward with another version. It'll be further into it'll be in the 90s and stuff in the 80s.
So fast forwarding through a TiVo.
Oh, one of the things I loved about this was that the filmmaker was talking about how they would put it on old VHS tapes and then they would hide those tapes in like Goodwill and stuff like that. So people would end up just taking this home not knowing what it was. And so there was a little bit of a mythology built around this, which I think is really, really neat.
I think that's super smart. Yeah, and I like that the way they made it. I think they took a bunch of the footage and put it on a tape and then another tape and then another tape to give it this look, which really paid off. Like when I watch it, I feel like I'm properly watching TV from that time. I'm like, I'm going to be told to come to a boat show pretty soon. And I'm excited.
We'll sell you this whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
So, yeah. So if there is a sequel that comes out, and there may or may not be somebody you know in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I should not be bad-mouthing
No,
this.
no, you can badmouth it all you want. I don't care. You're totally entitled to your opinion. Say what you like. You can apologize to me later and say it was a different movie that you were thinking of.
Okay, I'll do that.
You're welcome.
Well,
I give that one to you for free.
Man.
There you go. Problem
Normally
solved.
I have this kind of relationship with Eric, but it's nice to see that you're fitting in so well.
I'm very tired and very sassy right now, okay? It's been a long week.
I hope you're happy, Luella.
Interesting.
Yes. So does anybody else have any movies they want to talk about?
No, we don't have anything else to talk about. We're just gonna let that one hang.
Oh man.
I can see how this film would have a big cult following.
Yeah.
It didn't grab me. I also didn't watch the whole thing, so I'll just, leave it at that.
Sure.
If you didn't get to the part where the actual haunting starts happening, then you need to at least get there and see if you are interested.
I will go back and
Yeah.
maybe I won't go back and check it out right now.
You can fast forward through it. You can fast forward through the commercials to get to it.
Well, that sounds like the really interesting part. Anyways, who would like to go next?
I'll go next.
Sure.
I picked something incredibly obscure, and it is called The Night That Panicked America.
ABC. Friday. Movies. The world premiere of an exciting new motion picture on the ABC Friday Night Movie.
The Martians have just landed.
The radio said it was the end of the world, and the world believed it.
This is the most terrifying thing I've ever witnessed. They've landed on Earth. New Jersey's under martial law.
Orson Welles conceived it as a radio play.
We are ready to attack.
But it turned Halloween into a nightmare for millions.
How could they think this was real?
It was the night that panicked America.
This aired on, I believe, CBS on October 31st, 1975. Ooh. It was a made-for-TV movie, and so there is no Rotten Tomatoes score for it and no budget information. But it's got some pretty interesting stuff going on behind the scenes. It was directed by Joseph Sargent, who directed MacArthur, White Lightning, Jaws, The Revenge.
Finally.
Pedigree.
Also a little movie called From Here to Eternity.
Jesus.
I don't know. That doesn't sound very good.
It was written by Nicholas Meyer, who you should recognize that name,
Sounds
Eric,
familiar,
because you've picked a bunch of his movies for various things. He wrote Time After Time. He wrote Star Trek II, Star Trek IV, and Star Trek VI.
Yes.
He wrote The Day After.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry to bring everybody
It's
down
so
with
good.
that one.
Well, I mean, okay, it's really sad and really hard, but still.
but it's well done.
But it's so good. It's
It
so
stars Paul Shenner, who plays Orson Welles.
You lost me.
Vic Morrow, a very young John Ritter.
Oh, jeez.
Tom Bosley, who was, what's his name on Charlie's Angels? I can't remember the character he played, but
Bosley?
I can only think of him as
oh wait, no, he wasn't.
It was
Bosley was the name on Charlie's Angels.
Yeah.
Tom Bosley was Mr. Cunningham from Happy Days.
there you go.
There we go.
And Casey Kasem.
Casey Kasem. Is he playing a radio talent?
Yes,
Of course.
because this whole thing, the idea of this is it is in 1938, and the Mercury Theater is going to be putting on their rendition of The War of the Worlds. And this follows 3 different families from various walks of life that are not aware that this is a radio broadcast, and they are part of the people that thought that the world was actually being invaded by Martians. And it's a really, really neat movie. Now, I had to actually rent this off of, did I write down what it came from? I had to go into some shady shit and rent this on a app that I got on the Fire Stick, and the version of this looks almost as good as the WNUF special.
Oh no!
It literally had static running up the screen every once in a while and a warble.
Please adjust tracking.
I think this is the only version of it available.
Are you serious?
Was because they shot this stuff, and this was basically taped off of somebody's TV in 1975, and this is the only copy of it in existence right now. So when you buy the DVD of this, which you are able to do, this is the copy you will also watch.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it's really cool. So it's 1938. The Mercury Theater is broadcasting War of the Worlds, and these various families. One of them is a really high-end family that's having a big party. The lady who's running the party is like, let's get some music going on here, and so they tune it just to the point where the broadcast is starting, and in the broadcast, if you've ever actually listened to it, they started out with music, and then the music is interrupted. So the music starts, and everyone in the party is like, "Oh, this is nice," and then the interruption happens, and everybody just gets drawn into this story. And so then the point of view switches to a middle class family where preacher's daughter wants to get married, and he will have none of it, and so her and her fiance are planning to elope in the middle of the night when all of this goes down. And then a very low-income family who are all farmers on the outskirts who are listening on their little transistor radio, and most people did know that this was a broadcast, but these people are coming in just late enough into it that they're just catching the news part. And it was really cool because I have no idea how true to life this was, but you sit there and you listen to these old radio broadcasts and the theater of the mind going on, but you don't really think about what that means. And so if this is actually how it was done, this is amazing because the broadcast studio they have is gigantic because it has to fit an orchestra in it. And then it has to fit all these players who are playing different parts and doing sound effects and all of this stuff. You're watching this orchestra that plays the part of an orchestra, but then also has to be the music behind all of the commercial spots that are being live read by narrators and stuff like that. So it was really cool to see all of this background stuff. And they start getting calls. Tom Bosley is the owner of the radio station, and he's getting calls that people are starting to freak out. And so he's grabbing Orson Welles and saying, look, you need to make it very clear when you come back in from this commercial break that this is just a live broadcast and that it is not a actual news broadcast. And so that's what he did. Every time they came back from a commercial, this is the Mercury Theater's broadcast of H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds. But for some reason, the panic had already hit so hard that people were they would hear that and it would not register at all. And then they'd hear the next news report about, who was being killed and these things. And so it gets really intense because if you know the history, people committed suicide on this night. They were so scared.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the end of this is basically a man who is about to kill his child because this light is coming closer to them. They've gone on the run and they're in a tunnel, and this red light is coming closer and closer to them. And the man is with his wife and his daughter, and his wife is saying, "Do it. We don't want to be caught by the Martians." And then the light kind of gets in their face, and you hear a guy say, "Hey, fella, what are you doing?" And it's a cop car, and it kind of ends with that. Now, all of this took place on the night before Halloween. The reason I can do this is on a technicality. They then talk about what happens on the next couple of days, and things are revealed about the people who actually committed suicide. The areas that were affected most by this were New York and everything. They made up the name of this town, and people in surrounding towns who had never even heard of this town were buying into it. So it was just one of these weird things that happened, and there's been all sorts of documentaries on why we would have these kind of mass hallucinations and mass panics and stuff like that. There is a really interesting thing where they talk a little bit about what happened in a tiny town called Concrete, Washington.
Oh.
And I thought that was really interesting. So because what happened is they got this. People are listening to their radio. Remember, there's no television. There's nothing else going on. So your radio is your only thing. And your radio would go in and out or whatever. So people would hear most of this broadcast, and this is what they were talking about in Concrete, heard most of the broadcast, assumed that this was happening all over the world. And then for days, people were committing suicide because they didn't have access to find out that this was not. Because there's, you didn't have your TV to tune on and see what was actually happening in the world. It's weird to think that only that long ago we were so far removed from each other that something like this could happen.
I mean, if you figure New York and the original radio broadcast was what, the 30s or 40s or something like that?
For this?
Yeah, for the original broadcast.
1938.
38. So state of Washington was a long, long ways from New York at that time.
In this, they're talking about actually the village of Concrete, Washington.
I was going to say, it was like such a different place, Washington. I mean, we barely were a city for a very long time.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was really interesting. It got 3 Emmy nominations and 1 for sound editing, which unfortunately was not evident in what I was watching, which was very warbly. And I mean, this was blurry enough that the only way I recognized Casey Kasem was because of his voice. Tom Bosley also has a very, if you remember Mr. Cunningham, he also has a very recognizable voice. So I'm like, oh, okay, Tom Bosley. The guy they got playing Orson Welles, I had never heard of him before, Paul Shenar, and he's clearly way too old to be playing Orson Welles because Orson was only 28 when this happened.
Yeah,
this guy's
before he made his movies or anything like that.
This guy is maybe early 40s, but boy, he's got the Orson Welles voice. So it's really neat. If you're interested, this is one of those things that literally I saw once on October 31st, 1975, which meant I would have been 6 years old. And that image at the end of the man about to kill his family, I remember kind of talking to my mom about this and going, why is this happening? And she was telling me and explaining to me what was going on in his head. And that thing stuck with me all the way till now. When you made the suggestion, I was like, I think I know what movie I'm going to try and hunt down and everything. So I was going to be really disappointed if I couldn't find it. I'm slightly disappointed that there hasn't been a better version of this. In fact, there is a different movie that was made in the 50s that is basically the same story, and it is a way better quality thing. I just didn't have the personal connection to that film that I did to this film.
Wow.
So,
oh my gosh. And it only broadcast on TV one time? Or?
One time
really?
On October 31st, 1975. You know what? That might not be the case. And maybe it went into reruns or something like that.
It just sounds so. Some of those scenes sounded very, very, very familiar.
Okay.
And I'm just wondering if, I don't know, but this sounds like an amazing movie.
It was really cool. When I started looking up and researching it was very easy to find out about because people are talking about it all over the place. And then I started to use your, what's it called? Just Watch. Just Watch app, and it popped up as this app I had never heard of. And now I can't remember what it's called. And I was like, okay, I'll give this a try. I did like this app. I should find it. Maybe we'll put it in the show notes or something because you can sign up for $5.99 a month, and it's got some crazy shit you've never heard of on there, or it allows you to do a one-time rental of just the film you want to watch. So I rented it for $3.99, and you know what? As shitty as it was, the copy, it was totally worth it. So.
Oh, wow. Oh, my gosh.
Well, after those incredibly common and easy to acquire films, be bringing to you the equivalency of a friggin' blockbuster movie here.
You picked Halloween, didn't you?
No,
Halloween
I did not.
2. Halloween
No
3.
Halloween movies.
Halloween 4?
Oh, Halloween 3 is so good.
6, 5, 7, 8. One of the remakes? The Rob Zombie one. Rob Zombie 2. No, the most recent one. Hold on. No, the other most recent one. H2O. Fucking hell. And I don't think I named all of them.
No, you by far have probably not.
I did not pick those. Call it almost a double bill. But we'll start with the basic one of Night of the Demons.
A full moon. A spooky, deserted mansion. Halloween night.
All right, dudes! And dusters. Let's party!
10 kids. All they want to do is raise a little hell. Now, as long as they live, they'll wonder what's gotten into them. Night of the Demons.
Blessed be the sinners, for the day of atonement is at hand.
Stop looking at me. Night of the Demons. Party till you drop.
Okay, yeah.
1988. A Rotten Tomatoes score of 40 and 56 from the folk.
40 from the critics and 56 from the
folks.
audience.
Yep.
I thought this was a beloved movie.
It's got to be a cult classic,
It's
right?
it's a cult following,
yeah,
definitely.
So I can see, like, critics not... I mean...
Well, critics, yeah, but 56 audience, that tells me
a little low. Yeah.
Yeah, actually.
It was budgeted at $1.2 million and made $3.1, so tripled its budget. I was able to watch this on YouTube. It's available legally.
Oh,
YouTube.
okay. I was like, are you supposed to say that? I thought we were supposed to say boo tube or something.
There are plenty of legally available YouTube videos along with all the not so stuff, which I don't know how they get away with. Anyways, directed by Kevin Teeney, who directed Witchboard 1 and 2 and Witch Trap.
I like me some Witchboard, that first one.
Written by Joe Augustine, who also wrote Night of the Demons 2 and the remake of Night of the Demons, which was less successful, shall we say.
Not very good.
Starring Kathy Podwell, who was in 70 episodes of Dallas. So she was in a regular on that, which was weird because I kind of thought her performance was the weakest on of the movie.
Snap.
Could be that she's like, what the fuck am I doing in this movie? I've been on 70 episodes of Dallas. Hal Havens, who's done lots and lots of TV. Names you will recognize, Linnea Quigley, kind of a well-known name there. Also had Amelia Kincaid, who was in all three of the Night Demons movie as Angela, I believe her character's name is. Alvin Alex, I mentioned him because he was on The Brother from Another Planet. An interesting movie to check out.
It's kind of fun.
This movie has an interesting release if you really love this movie. Shout Factory has released a very good Blu-ray of it that includes not one, not two, but 3 different NECA-made 8-inch action figures
I
you can
just
get
got an
from
email
them.
about this today. They do look pretty good. They do look pretty good.
It includes Stooge, Hal Havens, Suzanne, who's Linnea, and Angela, who's Kincaid, who are the three characters that turn into demons, basically.
Okay.
So it's the three demons. So you can get all those first two are available in a 2-pack. Unfortunately, if you really want Angela, she is now out of print, and $150, I think, was the lowest price I saw on eBay.
Ooh. Wow.
So
You got to get in there fast.
Doing well.
Way to go, Show Factory.
Yeah.
Their action figure game
Well,
is
I've got
strong.
the one from Night of the Creeps.
Oh my God, that's
which
so
is
good.
So cool.
That's Tom Atkins?
Yes.
Yeah, oh my God, it's so good. It's so good.
I'm looking at going, where else are you going to get Tom Atkins action figure, man?
Yeah, when I saw that you posted that picture, I was like, give me that. How have you not had Tom Atkins autograph that yet?
It's only been out. It came out this last year.
Yeah.
Why haven't
Just
you
recently.
hunted Tom Atkins down and made him
He's got to
autograph
be
it?
at some
Just drive to
convention
his place.
somewhere.
Mr. Tom, will you sign your action figure, please? But only while wearing the brown coat.
You know he's going to write "Thrill Me" on it.
Yes.
I hope so.
There you go. So the movie starts with a bunch of good kids, or well, a bunch of little shits actually, scaring an old man who has a nasty trick-or-treat surprise,
Oh, yeah.
which is a totally random scene that comes back for the absolute end of the movie, which has absolutely nothing to do with anything else that happens in the film. It's like, all right. So they're going to a party with the good kids and the bad kids. You know, it's the 80s. Every group of kids had somebody, basically 4 or 5 people that really shouldn't be hanging around with each other, but they do anyways. They go to this Hull House, I believe it's called. I don't know if they name it in the first one, but they name it a lot in the second one. Not a great matte painting of this house. I got to tell you, their music selection is, let's party to this music. No, let's not. Let's party to something else. The music stops and they decide to have a seance. But what this seance is I'm all sitting in front of a mirror and repeating a name or something like that till the mirror turns black. I'm like, different, at least. It's something new I haven't seen before. And of course it worked. Kind of a neat shot in the pieces of the broken mirror of people looking at the pieces of broken mirror, but you could tell either the editor or the director thought it was a really nice shot because it's really long.
They do spend a lot of time on that shot.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember thinking, like, was this CGI? Why are we so excited about this? They spend, like, a lot of money on this moment?
And after that, as I wrote down, as a very Evil Dead shot later, all hell breaks loose. It's a big giant party with 9 people.
I only recently saw this film and I was waiting for a
okay.
lot more people to show up. And I was like, this is the weakest party, man.
Wow, because I was like, I can't even imagine knowing 9 people.
These 9 people
God.
should not have known
We're
each other
2
either.
of the 9, aren't we?
You are.
Oh, okay. Is your
2 of the 9, 2 of the 6.
is your downstairs neighbor who doesn't know your name one of them?
Yes.
We'll get you
All
a
right.
cat. It'll be fine.
Casey. Let's see. Oh, and they did a great way to let you know whenever a new demon has come into existence. The fire gets larger. Hey!
That seems very creative.
Okay, I'm including Night of the Demons 2 as part of this double feature. So I'll reference a couple things that happened in both. Both of them have kind of a strange... The lady Kincaid who plays Angela, if you look through her IMDb credits, they're almost all dancer for whatever movie she's in. So she has a dance scene. She has the same kind of thing in the second one. And both of them are the precursor to all the shit going really sideways, where all the killing and violence starts.
I'm trying to remember. Is it like a sexy dance or something?
Sort of, but sort of ballet oriented. I mean, it's like a dance.
Yeah, I think it was like an actual dance.
I
think
the
she's got to be
sequel,
a dancer or something.
yeah,
right?
the sequel is more akin to a striptease act, although there's no real stripping, but her dancing is more erotic charged than it is in the first one. First one's a really kind of a long scene.
It is. I remember that too. I was like, why are we still watching you dance? I was like, you guys need more story. There's a lot of filler in this thing.
It's got pretty good, icky, blood, nasty moments. The violence is well done. Versus only 9 people, 3 of which turn into demons, so the violence is also fairly limited.
Only so many people to kill.
Watch out for the lipstick scene.
I was going to say, isn't there a lipstick and a nipple scene or something like that?
That's the one.
Oh, yeah.
Linnea Quigley.
That's what I've taken from this movie was some kind of horrific...
Like body horror.
Yeah,
Yes.
lipstick going in.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yep, you're pretty close there.
Yeah.
And for Night of the Demons 2, the lipstick is the catalyst that brings the demon out to the Catholic school where where the demon does
the
most of his
girls bring
damage.
some lipstick they found into a Catholic school.
Yep.
Ooh, that sounds about right.
The black guy doesn't die first in this movie. He's actually one of the final two.
But not the final one, I'm guessing.
I don't remember.
In the first one,
So glad.
I feel like he survived. Maybe.
Yeah, I think there's two survivors at the end.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think he actually
Well,
lives.
That's kind of groundbreaking.
Yeah, it's probably to me it was probably the most interesting part of that whole film.
Did you like the eye trauma? There was eye trauma in it.
I don't even remember. Oh, yeah.
Thumbs in the
That's
eyeballs.
good podcasting
You
when
like
you
that?
make
It was
hand movement and a sound.
One very strange device, I guess you could say, that was used not once but twice, is all this shit going down, all the weird stuff happening, and two people fall asleep.
There's a lot of people asleep. Yeah. Man, this movie was a weird movie.
Get woken up by demons knocking on the doors of wherever they're sleeping. I think I'd be awake.
This is the lamest party ever. You've got like 9 people and 2 of them are in a room somewhere asleep. Just saying, it's a big house too. I think they could have done better high school parties.
And
It opened up the casting, man.
I was on Letterboxd looking at that. I noticed one of our listeners, Jason Weiss, couldn't even finish this movie. So sorry about this one, buddy.
Oh, man.
Sorry, Jason.
And they do play the old man razor blades in the apple at the very end.
Yeah.
Like I said, has nothing to do with the whole movie, but it's probably the best gag in the movie.
It's probably the only way they could figure out how to end it. They were like, we got to do something.
Then there's Night of the Demons 2.
Oh, see, I know nothing of Night of the Demons 2.
This was made in 1994, so it's quite a bit later. No rating from the critics on this one, 51 from the audience, so they didn't like it as much. Had a budget of about the same, but I think it was a direct-to-video because there's nothing anywhere about it making any box office. Directed by Brian Trenchard, who directed Pimpin' Pee-wee, a 2009 Porky's movie.
What?
Porky's, like the franchise Porky's?
Yes.
That's still a thing?
Apparently.
Well, 2009 was 10 years ago now. When you think about that,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
weird.
But then he also directed Dead End Drive-In,
Oh, okay.
Stunt Rock, and Turkey Shoot.
Turkey Shoot?
What's
Really?
Turkey Shoot?
Yeah.
Oh, Turkey Shoot is excellent.
Is it good for Thanksgiving? Is it good for
Yes.
Thanksgiving? Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
For your Thanksgiving, yes. Not for regular people's Thanksgiving.
No. I don't care about regular people. I only care about my Thanksgiving. I need a horror film for every
So
holiday.
he's obviously Australian.
Right.
Because Dead End Drive-In, Stunt Rock, and Turkey Shoot are all Australian films.
Maybe
Yes, I
he's
think
just
Dead End.
got
I
a
don't remember
fetish.
Stunt Rock.
It's not as fun as Turkey Shoot, but it ain't far off.
Oh, okay. There are no turkeys in Turkey Shoot.
Oh, man.
None whatsoever.
Forget it. Why,
It's-
why would you tease me like this?
Sorry.
Why would it be in the title? That's just bad everything. Like, make a better title.
I still think you might like it, though.
You'd
But
still like
there's
the
no
movie.
turkeys in it?
No turkeys.
There is a Turkey Shoot, sort of.
What's a
If you
turkey
go in the
shoot?
context of what the movie is.
Yeah.
It's a dystopian future film. It's pretty cool.
That does sound good. But still, I wanted something for Thanksgiving.
This one's also written by the same guy who did one, Joe Augustine. Christy Harris, who was in 178 episodes of Sunset Beach, whatever that
Yeah,
is.
fuck you, Dallas. 178 episodes.
Apparently that went on for a long time.
I have never heard of this. feel
I
kinda
think it's a
bad for-
daytime soap opera or something. I
It
don't
must
know.
be. Oh, that maybe it's an Australian daytime soap opera.
Oh, could be.
That would make so much sense.
Darren Heems, who's in Son of Anarchy. Son of Anarchy. Son of
Only
Anarchy.
one.
Anyways.
It's a
Not to be
rip-off.
confused with Sons of Anarchy.
Yes.
Very different.
The sequel.
It's also got Robert Jane, the annoying kid from Tremors. All right, dude.
Oh, yeah. Hey, he was a good part of Tremors.
Marilyn Kennedy, who's in May. Amelia Kincaid, who's in Angela from the first one. Christine Taylor, who was Marcia in the Brady Bunch movies.
Oh, yeah.
And Zoe Trilling, who is Dr. Giggles in The Borrower.
I almost want to say Christine Taylor is married to Ben Stiller.
She is, yes.
Okay. Look at that.
Oh, wow. Way to have
You
your
are
celebrity
correct.
know-hows.
Look at that. Quick, ask me.
Who's married to?
Who's married to Seth Green? Go.
No idea.
I don't either.
Freddie Prinze Jr.?
Sarah Michelle
There.
Gellar.
Yeah.
That's one of the few I know. That's why I named that one. Anyway, so this one that starts at a Catholic school.
Mm-hmm.
Not an all-girls school, but they're separated in their dorms, of course. The good-looking priest who the nun seems uncomfortably attracted to in the first scene.
Excellent.
See, I'm not going to go into too detail on this one, but The nun's actually kind of cool in this movie. She's got a great line where a lady or a girl asks, "Is just kissing a sin?" And her reply is, "A kiss is a sin when it's an upward persuasion for lower invasion."
Whoa, she's been working on that one.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's only a sin if you do it right.
Massive pig guys you would think were straight out of an 80s, Porky's movie.
Are they like, as in they're, are they like practical?
They have
pig
binoculars that they're watching the girls dorm with and stuff like that.
This is why I love Vanessa. She heard pig guys and she's just like, tell me more about these creatures. No, just guys or pigs. Sorry, Vanessa.
Asshole guys.
I just envisioned like some demonology happened, and so they turned in, because they're kind of piggy, that they turned into these half pig, half men who are like cursed and running down the halls.
No.
You should have made this movie.
Nothing that interesting. Of course, it being the mid-90s, there's a name drop of the Necronomicon with no concept of what it is at all.
I mean, it's Catholic school. How would they know?
Well, one of the guys the guy from Tremors is studying demonology.
Oh, well, not very well.
Not well, no. Party at Hull House? What could go wrong? Hey, I don't know. There's a monster in a toilet. That's the level of humor we're dealing with here, guys.
So is it like, do you feel like it's better, worse, on par?
It's probably a better made and better directed film than Night of the Demons. It doesn't have Night of the Demons' fun, raw weirdness of violence and stuff like that. The violence falls far more on the demons than it does the people. A lot of people kind of live through this one. It's not a huge body count movie. I did like the priest falling asleep while reading Catcher in the Rye.
Of course.
And then this one, they also introduced how to get rid of the demons with holy water. Got a really bad special effect CGI for the end of the film. But I tell you what, if you're looking for Halloween background music to put on, background shows to put on during your party, these are both excellent movies for that capability.
Wow. So if you want to have some movies on in the background that you're not listening to, paying attention to, or really watching too much.
Except, like if I'm at a party, that's probably what I'm going to be doing, sitting there watching the movies.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, I remember Night of the Demons has kind of a grimy feel to it that makes it a little more interesting. Yeah. And I do remember I like the design of Angela as a demon.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go so far as to recommend these films ever for any reason.
I mean, if you're a completionist.
What are you completing with these two films?
Watching
weird
every
80s,
horror.
Weird 80s cult horror films.
Okay.
See? Something for everyone.
I don't know. Shout Factory.
Lipstick-based horror.
Shout Factory thought enough to make 3 freaking action.
You said Shout Factory, but I thought you said Scream Factory first.
Well,
it's the same.
technically the same company. I always forget which is the parent. I think Scream Factory is the parent company, and Shout Factory is
Shout is the
horror division.
I thought it was the other way around.
Is it the other way around?
Yeah, so Shout is the larger company, and they do like anime and all kinds of things. And then Scream is a specific subdivision that just does horror films. Okay. And Shout has like Shout Factory TV and...
Yeah, I actually like that app, now that you've introduced me to it.
Oh.
So there we go.
Wow. Okay. Well, I don't think I'm going to watch that on Halloween, but thank you for telling us all about it. At least yours took place on Halloween, so that's a big plus.
They both take place on Halloween.
I mean, no, I think it's, I love your pick. I have no arguments.
Are you talking to me right now?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
I'm going to just stare in the corner.
Look closer.
Okay. This means yet. No. Spoiler alert of things I don't know.
It's not a spoiler at all. Let's see here. We should come up with what our next subject will be, which is me.
So, right, whose turn is it?
So I got kind of an obscure one, but I think we can make it work. The idea of Halloween as a concept, when you're going into Halloween, you're going into October, what's the kind of movie that makes you go, oh yeah, Halloween time? Because we watch horror movies all year round.
That's true.
So there's something different about October. There's something different about the Halloween movies that make you think specifically of Halloween, as opposed to just a horror film in general.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I can dig this.
Yeah, I think I can come up with something for this.
Well, all right, guys. Then thanks for you guys coming all the way up here again, and thanks for everybody listening and the rating and reviewing stuff for Eric. That's really cool of you. And
remember, 5-star review on iTunes. List a movie. Feel free to go as obscure and as weird as you want to, and we'll have some fun with it when I actually, start watching.
But
it,
only
which
Eric
I should.
will watch it.
Give me a couple more weeks, and I'll be getting into these a lot more.
Big, gigantic thanks to Bob Hale again, and of course Danny Williford, who are just like our angels and constantly sharing and promoting us. Thanks so much, you guys, and everybody else, Ron Forbeck, and there's been so many people that Langley, of course, is always saying really nice things about us.
Thank you, Langley.
I don't think Langley actually listens. Now we'll be able to tell because I just said that, and we'll see if he says something like.
Yeah, I would love to know too, because I've said really nice things about him, and he hasn't told me anything. He hasn't messaged me in like 6 months. Fuck. Come on, Langley.
Boy, this shout out turned into a real diss of Langley. Bleedingham is right around the corner too. If you're hearing this, I think it happens this coming weekend, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're up there in Bellingham, it's Bellingham's own horror film festival, you guys. Get up there.
Pretty cool.
Okay, so we will see you guys next week when we are talking about films that make you think of Halloween.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's keep recording and just end this very uncomfortably.
Okay.
All right.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm done.
Okay. Our show is recorded somewhere high above Naval Station Everett at the nexus of all realities and is engineered and produced by Eric Morgret. Our theme music is Strange Aeons Part 1 by the band Nightshade and is used with permission. Find Strange Aeons Radio on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and wherever fine podcasts are found.